come from a city, you hear signs when we sleep. Heaven sent, hands down, vibes so unique. They ain't play their part, so my part is play for keeps.
What's going on, filmmakers? I'm Alexandru, and today I want to take you behind the scenes on how I shot 7 commercials in 2 hours with the DJI RONIN 4D. Let's go behind the scenes. Alright, so after watching the first commercial, I want to take you behind the scenes on this one, and then as we go with the video, I'm going to take you behind the scenes on each and every one. Now, the reason I took the DJI RONIN 4D for this kind of project was because this camera is extremely steady and it also has a 6K resolution sensor. Now, those two features combined were perfect for what I needed to do, mostly because I had to deliver this commercial in multiple formats. I had to deliver for YouTube and also for Instagram, and having a 6K sensor allows you to crop for Instagram without losing that much quality, and that was perfect. Also, because this camera is so steady, I think most of you, whenever you had horizontal footage and cropped for Instagram, you saw that everything is more sensible because you're cropping inside the image and you can see all these imperfections. Now, with this camera, because it's so steady, everything was buttery smooth and the footage was amazing. Now, I don't have that much experience with this camera, so taking it with me at this project was a little bit of a risk, but it's so easy to use it. It's just like an iPhone. You just open it up and it works. It's super simple. The menu overlay and everything was really easy to understand, like at first glance. I had used this camera to review it on YouTube and so on, but I never used it on a proper commercial set. Now, if you look closely at the first commercial, you can see that the lighting that I used was pretty minimal. I only used the nanolight PavoTube, and the reason for that was because I didn't want to disturb the lighting that was already in the shop. I kind of wanted to maintain that atmosphere, and I only put the lights just to increase a little bit the mood and had better skin tones and so on, because we all know whenever we work with the available lighting, things can look really bad. So the reason I had only PavoTubes was because I wanted to integrate everything and move as fast as possible, because when you have multiple lights on set, you're not so freely, you cannot move that much with your camera because you might see a light, you might see a stand, you might see all this different kind of stuff. So because I'm using only the nanolight PavoTubes in the shots, they look beautiful in the shot, and it's not a problem if you see them because they have like a, let's say, practical effect look, and for this kind of projects they look pretty nice visible on set. Of course, for something like a movie, you don't want to have them visible except only if they are motivated, but in our case we wanted to do something fun and something that looks young and cool. Now, moving on to the next commercial.
Let me see you try. Let me see you try.
This one was a little bit different, and mostly because I used this camera like no one would ever think to use it. I blocked all the access from the gimbal and I used it handheld. And I was surprised to see how good this camera looks with the gimbal stopped. Now, probably all the videos you have seen on this camera so far on the internet are about how good it stabilizes footage, not how good it looks without any stabilization. So I decided to block it, and so because I blocked all the access and I stopped the gimbal from working, I had shots that looked more intense and had more action into it. This is called implied action. You're basically amplifying your action with the camera move. I think this one turned really cool because we had a really nice contrast between super steady shots and super moved handheld shots. And this offered a really balanced and cool looking video. Now, moving on to the next commercial.
Look, I come from a city, you hear signs when we sleep. Heaven sent, hands down, vibes so unique. They ain't play their part, so my part is play for keeps. Why I a kid, but I never saw the ease. Yeah, got me keys. Yeah, on the table, age 10, look at me. Yeah, I seen things that'll make
Now,
it
as you
hard to
see
speak.
on this one, we wanted to try something different. We wanted to try one shot type of commercial, so you can see all the shop, you can see the clothes, you can see how big is the shop, and so on. And I thought because this camera is so stable, we could try and make a one shot sequence. So we did a few planning here and there, and we filmed everything one shot. I was really surprised on how good the autofocus works, and also how good we managed to put the pavo tubes in some location to improve our lighting. And this is what I like, going at a commercial with minimal gear and making something that looks actually quite cool. And this is the situation that we had right here. A few lights, a really good camera, and boom. This is the type of commercials and work that I see going on in a few years from now. I don't see things evolving to a set where you have to go with tons of lighting, tons of gear, tons of everything. Like, we see a lot of big movies now being shot on Sony FX3, and I think from now on we're gonna see gear shrinking more and more with more power lights that are super small with tons of power. So I like the way that the future is moving in terms of gear, because it will allow us to be more creative without the hassle of carrying a ton of gear with you and having a car full of gear that you're probably not gonna use because it's way too heavy, way too hard to put in different kind of parts of the set. Now, because we really loved this idea and how everything looked, I wanted to do a more complex one-shot footage, and so we did another one which I think looked pretty cool. And I was really amazed on how good the autofocus was on this camera. It was really nice. It was like spot on, nothing, it didn't mess anything up. And the stabilization is, oh my God, you don't have to be super focused to get the stable shots. It's really crazy. Now for the next shots, I used more lights. As you can see, you'll see more lights on set, mostly because I was getting tired to seeing the same image over and over again, the same yellow lights that look like shit and so on. And I decided to put more lights into the store to make it look cool. And we actually did a few cool shots with the girls, and I like how this one turned out. We did some special effects and so on. Like I said, 7 commercials. Bear with me because I had another one in the same setup with the girls as well. So this one is a little bit different. I wanted to do a little bit of special effects and so on, and I think it turned out pretty cool. I was moving the camera back and forth, and because of the middle shelf, I was able to create a transition between the two. I don't think it's like the best transition ever, but I think it's nice. Like, again, we managed to shoot quite a lot in such a minimal time frame, so now moving on to the next shots, where, like I said, I was bored of filming in the same lighting conditions over and over again, and so I decided to shut down all the lights and use only the pava tubes. And as you will see, the footage is 100 times better because normally available lighting sucks. But let's take a look at this one as well, which is the 7th commercial.
All day, all night, you know we got it like that, got it like that. All day, all night, yeah, you know we got it like that, got it like that. Every day I get it, every day I got it, got enough, so I split it. Everybody solid, worldwide, now I'm trending. On that hot topic, touchdown, now I'm winning. How they gon' stop it? We the talk of the town. Look at me now, up in a way, we in the clouds. We set it off every time we get involved.
Alright, so for this one, I had another light as well. I had a mix band of 150 with a softbox and a grid. And as you can see it here in this shot, because I wanted to have a little bit of field light so we can have a little bit of light on our dancers. But oh my god, the image is such a big difference, like how it looked with the lighting and how it looked without. So I'm really happy how this turned out. And if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And by the way, to grade all this cool footage of the DJI RONIN 4D, I used my LUTs, my Sony LUTs actually. They work pretty good with the DJI footage. So if you have a RONIN 4D and you want some good LUTs, my Sony S-Lux LUTs work pretty good with this camera as well. So thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, make sure to have some fun creating and stay safe. Peace.